Rigveda, hymn 10.138, Indra, 6 verses. Aligned with thee in friendship, Indra, these thy priests, remembering holy law, rent Vritra limb from limb, when they bestowed the dawns and let the waters flow, and when thou didst chastise dragons, at Kutsa's call, thou sendest forth productive powers, clavest the hills, thou dravest forth the kine, thou drankest pleasant meat, thou gavest increase. Through this the tree surpassing might, the sun shone by the hymn that sprang from holy law. In the midway of heaven the sun unyoked his car. The Arya found a match to meet his damned foe, associate with Vrijesvan. Indra overthrew the solid forts of Pipru. Conquering Asura, he boldly cast down forts which none had ever assailed. Unwearied, he destroyed the godless treasure's stores. Like sun and moon, he took the stronghold's wealth away, and praised in song demolished foes with flashing dart. Armed with resistless weapons, with vast power to cleave, the Vritra slayer whets his darts and deals forth wounds. Bright Ushas was afraid of Indra's slaughtering bolt. She went upon her way and left her chariot there. These are thy famous exploits, only thine, when thou alone hast left the other reft of sacrifice. Thou in the heavens hast set the ordering of the moons, the father bears the filly portioned out by thee. One of the first things that people perhaps should realize about deity is the utter aloofness. Then some say the deity within the heart and the deity all around. But then again, the deity isn't the creation. All this stuff about casting stuff, yeah, that applies to guns and all sorts of stuff too. But it's broader than just launching stuff, but one kind of gets the points of means in order to accomplish things. Hymn 10.139, Sevatar, 6 verses. Sevatar, golden-haired, hath lifted eastward, bright with the sunbeams, his eternal luster. He in whose energy wise Pushan marches, surveying all existence like a herdsman. Beholding men, he sits amid the heaven, filling the 2 world halves and air's wide region. He looks upon the rich, far-spreading pastures between the eastern and the western limit. He, root of wealth, the gatherer up of treasures, looks with his might on every form and figure. Savitar, like a god whose law is constant, stands in the battle for the spoil like Indra. Waters from sacrifice came to the Gandharva with Vavasu Osoma. When they saw him, Indra approaching quickly, marked their going, and looking around upon the sun's enclosures, this song, with Vavasu shall sing us, meter of airs mid-realm, celestial Gandharva, that we may know aright both truth and falsehood. May he inspire our thoughts and help our praises. In the flood's track he found the booty seeker. The rocky cowpen's doors he threw wide open. These the Gandharva told him. Rode with Amrita, Indra knew well the puissance of the dragons. Well, Sori Gamma Pamanishna Shani the Pamagarita, or whatever. You have this rainbow dragon that is your aura, but that's not what we're talking about here. Although you can kill the false ego within your rainbow aura. But I'm thinking, like a song I grew up with. Wants me for a sunbeam, a sunbeam, a sunbeam. In 10.140, Agni, 6 verses. Agni, life, power, and fame are thine. Life barriers blaze mightily. Thou rich in wealth of beams, sage passing bright, thou givest to the worshipper with strength the food that merits laud. With brilliant purifying sheen, with perfect sheen, thou liftest up thyself in light. Thou visiting both thy mothers, aidest them as son. Thou joinest close the earth and heaven. O Japavedas, son of strength, rejoice thyself, gracious in our fair hymns and songs. In thee are treasured various forms of strengthening food, born nobly and of wondrous help. Agnes spread forth as ruler over living things, give wealth to us. Immortal God, thou shinest out from beauty fair to look upon. Thou leadest us to conquering power, to him the wise who orders sacrifice, who hath great riches under his control. Thou givest blessed award of good, and plenteous food, givest him wealth that conquers all. The men have set before them for their welfare, Agni, strong, visible to all, the holy, the godlike one, with ears to hear, most famous men's generations magnify, with praise songs. And it's important to remember that the heavens and earth, the microcosm and the macrocosm, are created upon the same order, and the beings of choice are supposed to keep it upon the same cosmic order. Hymn 10.141, Visvadevas, 6 verses. Turn hither, Agnes, speak to us. Come to us with a gracious mind. Enrich us, master of the house. Thou art the giver of our wealth. Let Aryaman vouchsafe us wealth. And Bhaga and Brahaspati, let the gods give their gifts. And let Sunrita, goddess, grant us wealth. We call King Soma to our aid and Agni with our songs and hymns. Adityas, Vishnu, Surya, and the Brahmin priest. Brahaspati, Indra, Vayu, Brahaspati, God swift to listen, we invoke, that in the synod all the folk may be benevolent to us. Urge Aryaman to send us gifts, and Indra and Brahaspati, Vata, Vishnu, Sarasvati, and the strong courser Savitar. Do thou, O Agni, with thy fires strengthen our prayer and sacrifice. Urge givers to bestow their wealth, to aid our service of the gods. And certain deeds and certain other ways of thinking about things will involve one light being versus the other, but they're all on the same side, right? Hymn 10.142, Agni, 8 verses. With thee, O Agni, was the singer of the laud. He hath no other kinship, O thou son of strength. Thou givest blessed shelter with a triple guard. Keep the destructive lightning far away from us. Thy birth, who seekest food, is in the falling flood. Agni, as comrade, thou winnest all living things. Our coursers and our songs shall be victorious. They themselves advance like one who guards the herd. And thou, O Agni, thou of godlike nature, sparest the stones while carrying up the brushwood. Then are thy tracks like deserts in the cornlands. Let us not stir to wrath thy mighty arrow. O'er hills, through vales devouring as thou goest, thou partest like an army fain for booty. As when a barber shaves a beard, thou shavest earth when the wind blows on thy flame and fans it. Apparently are his lines as he approaches. The course is single, but the cars are many. When Agni, thou making thine arms resplendent, advancest o'er the land, spreadest out beneath thee. Now let thy strength, thy burning flames fly upward, thine energies, O Agni, as thou toilest, gape widely, bent thee, waxing in thy vigor. Let all the Vasus sit this day beside thee. This is the water's reservoir, the great abode of gathered streams. Take thou another path than this, and as thou listest, walk thereon. On thy way hitherward, and hence let flowery Durva grass spring up. Let there be lakes with lotus blossoms. These are the mansions of the flood. And just like all the light beings work together in different parts, and you got to have them all, thus does the waters and the other aspects of the material world add together as one, even though some things are pleasant about, the flood season. Hymn 10, 143, Athens, 6 verses. Ye made that Etra, worn with eld, free as a horse to win the goal, when ye restored to youth and strengthened Ketchibant like a car renewed. Ye freed that Etra like a horse, and brought him, newly born to earth. Ye loosed him like a firm tied knot, which gods unsoiled by dust had bound. Heroes who showed most wondrous power to Etra strive to win fair songs, for then, O heroes of the sky, your hymn of praise shall cease no more. This claims your notice, bounteous gods, oblation, Athens, and our love, that ye, O heroes, in the fight may bring us safe to ample room, ye twain to Budhu tossed about in ocean at the region's end. Nastatius with your winged steeds came nigh, and gave him strength to win. Come with your joys, most liberal gods, lords of all treasures, bringing weal like fresh full waters to a well. So heroes, come and be with us. And it's not that we rely vicariously, that we join aside and we speak well of these deeds, and we take part in the deeds ourselves, and we become part of something greater than just our individual path. Hymn 10, 144, Indra, 6 verses. This deathless Indu, like a steed, strong and full of vitality, belongs to thee, the orderer. Here by us, for the worshipper, is the wise bolt that works with skill. It brings the bubbling beverage as a dexterous man brings the effectual strong drink. Impetuous Ahisuba, a bull among cows of his, looked down upon the restless hawk that the strong pinioned bird hath brought, child of the falcon, from afar, what moves upon 100 wheels along the female dragon's path, which fair unrobbed the falcon, brought thee in his foot, the red-hued dwelling of the juice. Through this came vital power, which strengthens out our days, and kinship through its help awoke. So Indra is by Indu's power, e'en among the gods will it repel great treachery. Wisdom, most sapient one, brings force that lengthens life. May wisdom bring the juice to us. Now, red juice, but we're not talking about red juice, but we're not talking about blood. But we're talking about it kind of like it is, right? Hymn 10, 145. Sapatni Babanam, 6 verses. From out the earth I dig this plant, an herb of most effectual power, wherewith one quells the rival wife, and gangs the husband for oneself. Auspicious with expanded leaves, sent by the gods, victorious plant. Blow thou the rival wife away, and make my husband only mine. Stronger am I, O stronger one, yea, mightier than the mightier. And she who is my rival wife is lower than the lowest names. Her very name I utter not. She takes no pleasure in this man. Far into distance most remote, drive we the rival wife away. I am the conqueror, and thou also act victorious. As victory attends us both, we will subdue my fellow wife. I have gained thee for vanquisher, have grasped thee with a stronger spell. As a cow hastens to her calf, so let thy spirit speed to me, hasten like water, on its way. And now more than ever is this battle of the sexes. It's not supposed to be the battle of the sexes. You want to be on the same side as your spouse, you know? Hymn 10, 146, Aranyani, 6 verses. Goddess of the wild and forest, who seemest to vanish from the sight, how is it that thou seekest not the village? Art thou not afraid? What time the grasshopper replies and swells the shrill Cicala's voice, seeming to sound with tinkling bells, the lady of the wood exults, and yonder cattle seem to graze. What seems a dwelling place appears, or else at eve the lady of the forest seems to free the wains, and here one is calling to his cow, another there hath felled a tree. At eve the dweller in the wood fancies that somebody hath screamed. The goddess never slays, unless some murderous enemy approach. Man eats of savory fruit, and then takes, even as he wills, his rest. Now have I praised the forest queen, sweet-scented, redolent of balm, the mother of all sylvan things, who tells not, but hath stores of food. Now, there are entities of particular types of places and stuff like this, but particularly more remote ones. And there are places of mind and spirit that if you pass through certain regions physically, they overlap, or they open up to you otherwise. Hymn 10, 147, Indra. 5 verses. I trust in thy first wrathful deed, O Indra, when thou slewest Vritra and didst work to profit man. What time the 2 world halves fell short of thee in might, and the earth trembled at thy force. O thunder armed, thou with thy magic powers didst rend the conjurer Vritra. O blameless one, with heart that longed for fame, heroes elect thee when they battle for the prey. Thee, in all sacrifices worthy of renown, God much invoked. Take pleasure in these princes here, who thine exalters, Magaban, have come to wealth. In synods, when the right succeeds, they hymn the strong for sons and progeny and riches undisturbed. That man shall find delight in well-protected wealth, whose care provides for him the quick-sought joyous draught. Bringing oblations, strengthened Magaban, by thee he swiftly wins the spoil with heroes in the fight. Now for our band, O Magaban, when lauded, make ample room with might, and grant us riches, magician thou, our Varuna and Mitra deal food to us, a wondrous as dispenser. And there's talk in some of these ancient myths that indicate they weren't so flat earth and whatnot like some people think everybody was back in the day. Hymn 10, 148, Indra, 5 verses. When we have pressed the juice, we laud thee, Indra, and when most valorous, we have won the booty. Bring us prosperity, as each desires it. Under thine own protection may we conquer. Sublime from birth, mayest thou, O Indra, hero with Surya overcome the Dasa races. As by a fountain side we bring the Soma that lay concealed, close hidden in the waters. Answer the votaries' hymns, for these thou knowest, craving the Rishi's prayer, thyself a singer. May we be they who delight in Somas, these with sweet food for thee, O chariot rider. These holy prayers, O Indra, have I sung thee. Grant to the men the strength of men. Thou hero, give one mind with those in whom thou joyest. Keep thou the singers safe and their companions. Listen to Pritha's call, heroic Indra, and be thou lauded by the hymns of Venya, him who hath sung thee to thine oil-rich dwelling, whose rolling songs have sped thee like a torrent. And some oils, it's the smell, some oils are protection from drying out other issues. And Soma of the water, well, is it because they've diluted things? Or is it because they're talking about soma as something other than a plant substance, like it's a spiritual process, you could see? Um, like you see some of these myths where people, they get evolutions and it just drives some things away or it brings something in. In 10.149, Savitar, 5 verses. Savitar fixed the earth with bands to bind it, and made heaven steadfast where no prop supported. Savitar milked as 'twere a restless courser, ere seen bound fast to what no foot had trodden. Well knoweth the Savitar, O child of waters, where ocean firmly fixed o'erflowed its limit. Thence sprang the world, from that uprose the region. Thence heaven spread out, and the wide earth expanded. Then, with a full crowd of immortal beings, this other realm came later, high and holy, burst fairly. Savitar's strong pinioned eagle was born, and he obeys his law forever. As warriors to their steeds, kind to their village, as fond milk giving cows approach their youngling, as man to wife, let Savitar come downward to us, heaven's bearer, lord of every blessing, like the Angarasis, Haran, Vastupa. I call thee Savitar to this achievement. So worshipping and lauding thee for favor, I watch for thee as for the stalk of Soma. In one, in 10.150, 5 verses. Thou bearer of oblations, though kindled, art kindled for the gods, with the Adityas, Rudras, Vasus. Come to us to show us favor, come to us. Strong hither and accept with joy the sacrifice and hymn of ours. O kindled God, we mortals are invoking thee, calling on thee to show us grace. I laud thee, Vedas, thee, Lord of all blessings. With my song, Agni, bring hitherward the gods whose laws we love, to show us grace. Agni the god was made the great high priest of gods. Riches have kindled Agni, men of mortal mold. Agni I invocate for winning ample wealth, kindly disposed for winning wealth. Atra and Bharadvaja and Gavishthira, Kandva and Trasadasyu in our fight he helped. On Agni calls Vashishta, even the household priest, to win his grace. And well, it starts in the house, right? Because how can we have collective priests in society if we don't have religion in our homes? Well, I guess we can, but you know what I mean. Hymn 10.151, Faith. By faith is Agni kindled, through faith is oblation offered up. We celebrate with praises faith upon the height of happiness. Bless thou the man who gives. O faith, faith bless the man who fain would give. Bless thou the liberal worshippers, bless thou the word that I have said, even as the deities maintain the faith in the mighty Asuras. So make this uttered wish of mine true for liberal worshippers, guarded by Vayu, gods and men who sacrifice, draw near to faith. Men winning by faith yearnings of the heart, and opulence by faith, faith in the early morning, faith at noonday, we invocate, faith at the setting of the sun. O faith, endow us with belief. And faith per se is there's some reason, but if you have the right beliefs, or you don't have faith, if you have faith where you don't have knowledge, but it's in the right thing, because it's not straight up the acts and stuff alone, it's the faith behind it. Now, I'm not sure what the difference between faith and belief is in this language here, so, because I think of belief as some sort of passed on knowledge, faith is there's some sort of reason or whatever connected with having that conclusion. It's not just passed on, um, and then you get some sort of knowledge, but this of certainty. But this knowledge of certainty, and then there's the final thing, you're basically you have no choice to other than to have such a conclusion because of what you've been exposed to. But it's not always empirical in the sense that others can claim knowledge because you have knowledge. But it doesn't mean it's any less strong than something that others can look at too, because people will look at stuff and not make the conclusion, even if the information is right before them. Hymn 10.152, Indra, 5 verses. A mighty governor art thou, wondrous destroyer of the foe, whose friend is never done to death, and never overcome. Lord of the clan, who brings us bliss, strong warrior, slayer of the fiend, may Indra Soma Drinker go before us, bull who gives us peace, drive Rakshasas and foes away, break thou in pieces Vritra's jaws, O Vritra slaying Indra, quell the foeman's wrath, who threatens us, O Indra beat our foes away, humble the men who challenge us, send down to nether darkness him who seeks to do us injury, baffle the foeman's plan, ward off his weapon, who would conquer us, give shelter from his furious wrath, and keep his murdering dart afar. And yeah, it's not just what is done, it's what could be done that one definitely needs to regard. Hymn 10.153, Indra, 5 verses. Swaying about the active ones came nigh to Indra at his birth, and shared his great heroic might. Based upon strength and victory and power, O Indra, is thy birth. Thou mighty one art strong indeed, thou art the Vritra slayer, thou Indra hast spread the firmament, thou hast with might upheld the heavens, thou Indra bearest in thine arms the lightning that accords with thee, whetting thy thunderbolt with might, thou Indra art preeminent over all creatures in thy might, thou hast pervaded every place. Sometimes we can think of things in terms of like a birth belonging to God because, well, God isn't, it doesn't start. And as far as creation is concerned, well, that realm of creation is kind of like God is born into it, but it's not quite the right words to use. Hymn 10.154, New Life, 5 verses. For some Soma is purified, some sit by sacrificial oil. To those for whom the mead flows forth, even to those let him depart, invincible through fervor, those whom fervor hath advanced to heaven, who showed great fervor in their lives, even to those let him depart. The heroes who contend in war and boldly cast their lives away are who give guerdon thousandfold, even to those let him depart. Yea, the first followers of law's pure and holy strengtheners, the fathers, Yama, fervor moved, even to those let him depart, skilled in 1,000 ways and means, the sages who protect the sun, the rishis, Yama, fervor moved, even to those let him depart. And in a way, when you go to battle, it's like you've sacrificed your life. Hymn 10.155, Various, 5 verses. Aragi, one-eyed, limping hag, fly ever screeching to the hill. We frighten thee away with these, the heroes of Sirimbitha, scared from this place. And he that is she, destroyer of each German born, go sharp-horned Brahmanaspata and drive away Aragi far away. Yon log that floats without a man to guide it on the river's edge, seize it, thou thing with hideous jaws, and go thou far away thereon. When thou with secret stain and spot ye hastened onward to the breast, all Indra's enemies were slain and passed away like froth and foam. These men have led about the cow, have duly carried Agni round, and raised their glory to the gods who will attack them with success. Now there can be danger, stuff floating in rivers and whatnot. But there can be particular benefits to driftwood, Of course, the best driftwood is sea driftwood, but then again, there is even greater danger. I mean, because maybe it can be, some of these river mouths are quite wide, but not like being swept out to the ocean. And some of these terms, sirim betha, I mean, it would take some time to explain all this stuff, but if you know what any of it means, comment. Hymn 10.156, Agne, let songs of ours speed Agne forth like a fleet courser in the race, and we will win each prize through him. Agne the dart, whereby we gain kind for ourselves, with help from thee that send us for the gain of wealth. O Agne, bring us wealth secure, vast wealth in horses and in kine. Oil thou the socket, turn the wheel. O Agne, thou hast made the sun, eternal star, to mount the sky, bestowing light on living men. Thou, Agne, art the people's light, best, dearest, seated in thy shrine. Watch for the singer, give him life. And one thing that's very important for us to consider is that it's not just what we have, it's what we have and what we're going to need to take care of it.